Welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Seattle Seahawks in tonight's video. It's very late here. I'm in Mexico, but I want to talk some Seattle Seahawks content because I just saw that Leonard Williams just restructured his contract, which is going to save the Seattle Seahawks $14 million in cap space for this upcoming season. And that's a really big deal to me because the Seahawks are coming off a 10-7 season where Geno's getting ragged around on social media. Maybe I just follow a couple of buddies who are 49ers fans and they just love ragging on this guy. But my point is, I think Geno Smith is a super solid QB. And Mike McDonald just said the same thing a couple of days ago. We'll talk about that in 1 second here. But if you were to ask me, the Seattle Seahawks, I was reading a Bleacher Report article. They gave them a C+ for this past season, which personally I think going 10-7 with a first-year head coach is not a C+ grade. It's definitely not an A level type of grade. But the point is, I do think the foundation is getting there. And there are some things that will be tweaked specifically for me. It's going to be the offensive line. It starts and ends with the offensive line all the time in the National Football League. Obviously, that's a little bit, extra because I know you need a super solid QB if you want to make a Super Bowl run. But I view Geno Smith as, and Mike McDonald said the same thing a couple of days ago. I'm not saying Geno Smith is going to win a Super Bowl, but I am saying I don't know why he couldn't. And so the Seahawks this season, or I should say this offseason, because it's some way, somehow already February, less than 24 hours from now, we have Super Bowl, whichever number it is. What is it, 59? If they can fix the offensive line, that is a really big deal. And one of the other reasons I'm making this video here tonight is because I just saw that Sean McVay with the Los Angeles Rams, I don't need to explain it to you, I saw this headline, stole Seahawks offensive line coach Scott Huff. Now, I have no vendetta against Scott Huff, but my point is, and this will be a little bit more clear in a minute or two, is you're seeing some Seahawks coaches leave this staff. I think it's just for the better. You got your head coach. Now you got your offensive coordinator and Clint Kubiak. And I'm just really excited to see what this team could possibly do if you give Geno some type of consistent offensive line play. All right, now Scott Huff, real quick, worked with Ryan Grubb, last year's offensive coordinator at Boise State. He worked with him at University of Washington, and now he's going to be the tight ends coach for the Los Angeles Rams, and that's perfectly fine. And we'll keep you updated on that. I'm on vacation right now, so my point is, Geno Smith was just endorsed by Mike McDonald as the starter for the season this upcoming year. Now, obviously, it's February 8th. We don't have the free agency starting about a month from now. We don't have the draft starting for a while. And, you'll see some speculations on, what the Seahawks are going to do at quarterback and blah, 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 blah. But I really want Seattle to literally only focus, or I'm being a little bit dramatic here again, I need them to emphasize the offensive line. And it's just clear as day here. But let's start off with this Geno Smith news. By the way, hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. I think I'm going to do a lot of just kind of dives like this on specific teams. Tonight's instance, it's 10:30. We're doing the Seattle Seahawks. Try and get this video, folks, to 100 likes. That would mean the world to me. We post Seahawks content on this channel all the time. So here's what Mike McDonald, the head coach of the Seahawks, said. It's pretty obvious this guy is a heck of a quarterback. He's our quarterback. We love him. Can't wait to go to work with him. So Seattle finished 9-8 and 10-7 in the last 2 years with Geno Smith under center. And he emphasized this point, or he added in this point, and we can win a championship with Geno Smith. Now, Geno's gotten a Pro Bowl nod in 2 of the past 3 seasons. They had a playoff appearance a couple of years ago. In 17 starts this past year, Geno Smith completed a career-high 70.4% of his passes for 4,320 yards. He had 21 touchdowns, but he did have 15 interceptions. And that was the 3rd most amongst all quarterbacks. But I'll even use an example here. Baker Mayfield led the league in interceptions. If you watch Baker Mayfield, just like if you watch Geno Smith play, there's more nuance, there's more depth to why these guys are throwing interceptions, all right? And just to keep it a buck here, Ryan Grubb was not the answer at OC. And we've talked about this time and time again on this channel. I have nothing but love and respect for Ryan Grubb, and I wish him the best of luck. But Mike Macdonald was like the 7th out of 8th coaches hired in last year's offseason coaching cycle, and a lot of the coordinators had already been grabbed. So I kind of felt like it wasn't necessarily a reach, but it was relatively risky, right? Now, Geno really improved towards the end of the season. All right, he threw for 697 yards and 7 touchdowns. He only had 2 interceptions in his final 3 games. Now, he does have 1 year remaining on a 3-year, $75 million contract. And this is kind of why I started the video talking about Leonard Williams taking that pay cut or restructuring his contract, because he signed this. Geno signed that contract in 2023, right? So this is his last season. He's got a $44.5 million cap hit for 2025. That can be lowered with a new extension. So I'm curious what Seahawks fans want to do with not only Geno Smith, but if also just the future at the quarterback position. I'm not saying Geno is going to be the quarterback in Seattle for the next 5 seasons, but when I look at a 10-7 Seattle Seahawks, the issue was not Geno Smith. And it was not Geno Smith throwing interceptions. They had red zone struggles. They had severe offensive line struggles. They need a guard. A couple of guards. They need a center. They have to fix their offensive line. They had 6 different starting offensive line combinations in the 2024 season. They also started 4 different right tackles. Abe Lucas obviously was injured, and he was only available from weeks 11 to 17. And then on your left side, you got Charles Cross. So when healthy, you've got 2 of the best tackles in the NFL as far as duos go. So I'm really curious if they're going to go after Kansas City's Trey Smith. It seems like every team in the NFL that needs a guard, feels like every team in the NFL needs a guard this offseason. We'll be looking at Trey Smith. I also kind of think he might just end up being a Kansas City Chief, because it's the Kansas City Chiefs and they're about to win their 3rd straight Super Bowl tomorrow night. But he was a 6th round pick in 2021. He just made a Pro Bowl. He's only 26. But even just going forward with free agency, because once again, folks, it's literally like a month away. Maybe you'll give or take a couple of days. I don't remember. I think it actually is March 8th. Please don't quote me on that. You got the Bears, last year's Bears left guard, Tevin Jenkins. He's only 27 years old entering next year. You got Buccaneers left guard Ben Bredesen, who's only 27. You got the 49ers left guard, who's Aaron Banks, 28 years old. Kevin Zeitler with the Detroit Lions. He's 35 years old, but he was so good for that team. You're kind of sorry. I kind of hope the Lions re-sign him. But anyways, Steelers right guard James Daniels is only 28 years old. Cardinals right guard Will Hernandez is 30 years old. So my point is, I want the Seahawks to move forward with Geno Smith, and I just want them to severely address the interior offensive line. Folks, that is it for tonight. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content, and give me your thoughts on the Seattle Seahawks down below. Peace.